For most of the week, the Gashouder is an empty circle of brick and iron in Amsterdam. It was built in 1903 to store 100,000 cubic meters of gas, the fuel that once kept the city lit. Then the room goes dark. A kick drum begins. Light climbs the circular wall. Thousands of people turn toward the same center, and an industrial monument starts to feel less like a building than a machine designed for techno. This is where awakenings began. And almost 30 years later, the festival's greatest achievement is not simply becoming large. It is making scale feel like ritual. On Easter Sunday, the 30th of March 1997, promoter Rocco Veenboer staged the first event under the Awakenings name. The lineup connected Dutch selectors with artists including Derek May and Billy Nasty. The location did the rest. The Gashouder had already lived several lives. Gas production at Westergas ended in 1967. Artists and cultural entrepreneurs began reclaiming the contaminated industrial site in the early 1990s. A building created to hold energy was repurposed to release it. That circular geometry became part of Awakening's identity. There is no distant mainstage facade pretending to be a castle. The audience surrounds a center. Lasers travel across a dome. Smoke gives light a physical body. The architecture does not disappear behind the production, it completes it. Veenboer has said that large American concerts, including Grateful Dead shows, helped shape the way he thought about lighting, spectacle, and community. But his musical proposition was unusually narrow. Techno, presented with obsessive production. That focus mattered. In the late 1990s, electronic festivals could separate their audiences by genre. Awakenings did something different. It built variety inside techno itself. Detroit, minimal, industrial, melodic, hard, experimental, without diluting the name. The road was not perfectly smooth. Renovation forced Awakenings away from the Gashouder. Events moved through Rotterdam and Amsterdam's NDSM Wharf before the brand returned to its spiritual home in 2005. But the most important expansion happened outside. On the 25th of August 2001, the first outdoor Awakefest took place at Sparnwoud. The intimate circular room became fields, tents, and multiple stages. In 2014, the outdoor festival expanded to 2 days. This changed the scale but not the visual language. Awakening stages tend to feel engineered rather than enchanted. Steel grids, severe typography, towers of light, flames, smoke, and sound. Even in daylight, the production points attention toward the physical force of the music. That makes Awakenings a useful contrast with fantasy-led festivals. It does not ask visitors to enter an imaginary kingdom. It asks them to enter a temporary city built around one musical idea. Corporate ownership entered that story too. A United States Securities Filing Documents SFX's agreement to acquire Monumental Productions in 2014. Awakening's own statement says it became part of Superstruct in 2021. Those facts invite an easy argument: underground culture versus corporate scale. Reality is more complicated. Large sites, international artists, transport systems, medical teams, and elaborate stages require capital and organization. The more useful question is whether growth changes what the audience recognizes as authentic. Awakening's answer has been consistency. The logo, production discipline, and techno-only identity survive even as the business around them changes. In 2022, the Summer Festival moved again, this time to the Beeks-Bergen recreation area in Hilvarenbeek in the south of the Netherlands. The organizer introduced it as the country's only 3-day techno festival. The new location created something closer to a techno holiday. Visitors could stay from Friday until Monday. Beyond the stages, the campsite added beaches, food areas, shops, exercise classes, and overnight programming. The official description now speaks of 80,000 visitors from more than 80 countries across the weekend. That is the organizer's figure, and it describes the weekend total rather than a single crowd standing in one field. Even with that distinction, the logistical footprint is enormous. Multiple entrances serve different ticket and accommodation types. Some visitors bring tents. Others book prepared camping, cottages, safari tents, or a hotel. Shuttle and parking plans depend on the entrance printed on the ticket. Hilvarenbeek is not central Amsterdam. Arriving without a transport plan can turn the final set into a problem. The reward is range. One area can deliver hard techno at full pressure, while another moves through Detroit history, hypnotic loops, or melodic sets. Forest, tent, and open-air environments prevent every hour from feeling visually identical. And then there is the crowd. Techno is repetitive by design, but repetition is not the absence of change. A small filter movement, a missing kick, or a delayed drop can redirect thousands of bodies at once. Awakening's production magnifies those changes. Lights do not simply decorate the set. At their best, they reveal its structure. That is why the Gashouder remains essential to the story, even when the largest event happens elsewhere. It taught the brand to think in circles: artist, architecture, light, and audience feeding one another. Scale also creates costs. A festival weekend means admission, service fees, transport, accommodation, food, lockers, and time away from home. Ticket categories and prices change by edition, so any single number quickly becomes misleading. The honest comparison is a complete trip budget, not the price printed on the first sales page. There is an environmental cost as well. Awakenings says all its events have offered a fully vegetarian menu since 2022. It describes deposit systems for cups, separated waste streams, battery-supported stages, and energy plans designed to reduce diesel use. These are concrete measures reported by the organizer. They do not make international travel or temporary construction impact-free. The same honesty should apply to the experience. Awakenings is not an underground warehouse party. It is a highly organized, international festival business. Popular sets become crowded. Weather can turn fields into mud or heat. 3 days of high-volume music demand stamina. Anyone looking for intimacy at every stage may prefer a smaller club. But for the right visitor, those limitations explain the appeal rather than cancel it. Awakenings offers concentration. Instead of placing techno beside dozens of unrelated genres, it treats the music as a complete world with its own history, factions, and future. Newcomers can see major artists in one weekend. Dedicated fans can move past headliners into scenes they did not know. So, is it worth traveling for? If you want a relaxed sightseeing weekend with some music attached, probably not. Hilvarenbeek requires planning, the schedule is intense, and much of the value comes from surrendering to the event. If you care about techno, sound, lighting, and the strange unity of a crowd moving to the same 4 beats, Awakenings belongs on the shortlist. Choose your accommodation before buying extras. Verify the correct entrance. Use official ticket and resale channels. Protect your hearing, and leave space in the schedule to discover a stage you did not plan to visit. In 1903, Amsterdam built the Gashouder to store the energy that illuminated a city. In 1997, Awakenings found another use for it. The gas is gone, the building remains, and every time the room goes dark, the machine wakes up again.